بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. So the previous topic was, or the category of the knowledge of morphology was about the nouns and verbs. What kind of categories are common for both. Now we go into the morphology of the verbs and what kind of categories and types there are within this category. So the author goes, في هذا القسم ندرس 5 تقسيمات صرفية للفعل. So in this category we study 5 also categorizations, morphological categorizations of the verb. So these 5 are the categorizations. So one is the form, الصيغة. So the verb is categorized or split into 3 forms, well, more accurately, tenses. So ماضي or ماضٍ is the past tense. مضارع, this is typo. This chapter actually has quite a few typos. مضارع and أمر. So مضارع is present tense and أمر is the imperative, the order. That's the first. Second, من حيث الصحة والاعتلال. With regards to صحة اعتلال, the exact translation of this, would be, I guess, correctness and some kind of incorrectness or afflictedness. اعتلال can also be, it can also mean, a medical condition or a sickness. So, and it can also mean some kind of flaw. So that could be something that is correct or flawed. That's also a way to put it. So with regards to correctness and flaws, I guess, they split up or categorize into correct and flawed, or afflicted or sick. Sick is maybe overdoing it a bit. And this is about the basically, one could say it's about consonants, words consisting of consonants only, or one or more vowels. Not exactly, but basically. من حيث التصرف والجمود, and this is with regards to its morphability and staticness, and they split up, or they are categorized into متصرف, morphable, and جامد, so like static, non-morphable. ومن حيث اللزوم والتعدي إلى لازم ومتعدي. And with regards to, and this is with regards to the meaning of the verb. It doesn't have to do with the exact morphology with regard, as in changing the form of the word, or it has strictly to do with the meaning. So لزوم الفعل or الفعل اللازم, meaning that it has no effect on anything except the person who is the actor. So, for example, حسن is something that it means I was good. So حسنت, I was good. So it doesn't have any effect. That verb, that action or verb has no object. But تعدي الفعل or الفعل المتعدي uh, means basically something that is transgressing its own boundary, right? So it's also related to the word ta'diya, which means the spread of a disease, you know. So like almost like infection. Meaning in this context is about the verb that has an object. So if you hit someone, that you are the actor, and then there's an object as well. ومن حيث, the fifth one, من حيث ذكر الفاعل إلى ومن حيث ذكر الفاعل إلى مبني للمعلوم ومبني للمجهول. So this is about the active and passive verb types or expressions of a verb. So with regards to mentioning the actor, the person doing the act, إلى, so this one, this expression actually differs from here. لزوم والتعدي, you mentioned the both opposites. Here you only have ذكر الفاعل. You could also say وعدم ذكر الفاعل. So with regards to mentioning the actor and not mentioning, it is categorized into مبني للمعلوم and مبني للمجهول. So مبني meaning, you know, constructed for a known actor, or constructed for a, or expressed as a unknown actor. So an example of that is I read the book. قرأت الكتاب. قرأت الكتاب. And that is an active. So I read the book. So verb, the actor, or I guess it's maybe the subject, and the object. But that is مبني للمعلوم. So الفاعل هنا معلوم. But if I say that the book was read, قرئ, Allah alam if this is the correct form of the Hamza. Yeah. So الكتاب الكتاب. So this is مبني للمجهول. So the actor is not mentioned here. In the context of the sentence, it is not known. It is an unknown actor. So the book was read. That's the fifth one. So then follows these five categorizations. So first one is splitting the verb with regards to its, what did I say? The tense, but صيغة means mainly, really the form of expression, to past, present, and imperative. الفعل من حيث الصيغة ينقسم إلى, I guess, إلى ثلاثة أقسام. الله أعلم, this might be correct as well. الأول, so with regards to the tenses, you have three tenses in Arabic. The first one is الفعل الماضي, the past tense. زمانه, الفعل الماضي, its tense, meaning its time, is المضي, meaning past. في الأكثر, mostly. So like سافرت أمس, I traveled yesterday. And بقرينة, if there is something indicative coming along with this or being mentioned along with this, it can mean future. Like أتى أمر الله. So Allah's like affair or order or also a loss, like issue has come, أتى. But this is past tense, أتى. But here you have the indication that the intended meaning is actually future tense. فلا تستعجلوه. So do not rush it. ويصاغ على 19 بناء, and it is expressed, the past tense, in 19 different patterns. سبق بيانها, its clarification or its mentioning has been preceded في القسم الأول, in the first topic. والثاني, the second tense, الفعل المضارع, the present tense. وزمانه, and its time, depending on the meaning and the accompanying indicators, like فلا تستعجلوا. الحال, meaning now, the present, like أحبك, I love you, and future, like أنا أذهب إليه وأخبره, I walk to him or go to him and inform him. So this kind of gives it away that this is and this is future tense. I will go to him and inform him. I will go and inform him. والماضي, the past tense, like, and here is the قرينة, يعني the accompanying thing that gives away that it is actually past tense. لم يذهب, he did not go. ويصاغ من الفعل الماضي. And these are the ways to this is the way to express or to construct الفعل الماضي, the past tense. So you express the past tense verb by adding a letter from the, just a minute, يصاغ من الفعل, oh sorry, بسم الله, I'm confusing myself. So you express the present tense by using the past tense and adding a letter of the present tense letters, and they are the four: Hamza, Noon, Ya, Ta. Can be memorized easily by saying Anaitu before the first letter. So, for example, ذهب, you can add Ya, right? So this is one of the حروف المضارعة, like أذهب, نذهب, يذهب, and تذهب. You extract those four kinds of present tenses. It's just one present tense actually, from the past tense ذهب. And then you have فعل الأمر. So in a way, you might say that the present tense is a derivative of the past tense. The third tense is فعل الأمر, imperative, meaning the order. You also have the imperative. You also have, from that, you also have the word emperor. The people who, the guy who orders people around, right? And its time is the future. Like اذهب, go. And you construct this. You express the imperative from the present tense verb by taking away حرف المضارعة, حذف, by removing the حرف المضارعة, like أيوة, here we go. دحرج, meaning roll roll something, like roll the stone, for example. You take that, you extract that from يدحرج, he is rolling. فإن كان أوله, so if that first letter has sukun, not in this case, right? يدحرج. After you remove the حرف المضارعة, if it's sakin, meaning it has sukun, then you put a hamzatul wasl, hamzata waslin, in front of it. So يذهب becomes dhhab, but you cannot say sukun in the first as a first letter in a word. So you need to add the hamzatul wasl. And there was one, yeah, exactly. There's one faida here that sakin means a letter with sukun. So you say sakin, يعني it has sukun. And you say مفتوح, مفتوح when it has a فتحة. And you say مكسور when it has a كسرة. And you say مضموم when it has a ضمة. So that's just a little faida. So اذهب, you take it from يذهب, right? Then you have the second categorization, categorizing the verb with regards to صحة والاعتلال, meaning, correctness or health, I guess, correctness, and sickness or flaws. To correct and flawed. I think correct and flawed sounds better. So الفعل من حيث same thing. So there are 9 types of verbs. First of all, it is the correct one. So the correct verb is the verb that has no flawed letters. That makes more sense than say like sickness letters or something like that. So flawed letters. So flawed letters are basically vowels. So you have, for example, these are correct ones. ركع سجد, made ركوع سجود. Then you have the mu'tal, the flawed. And that is what has a flawed letter in it. So like وقف, it's not exactly a vowel, but it's pretty close. وقف. This is like a W in English, right? So it's not a vowel per se, but waw is a vowel in certain cases. And then you have قال, alif, that's definitely a vowel. And ساعة, that is alif مقصورة. So it's like, it is commonly a form of ya, ساعة. So these are like flawed words because of they having a they have a flawed letter here and here. And then you have the salim, and that is a word that does not have any of the flawed letters, and it does not have a hamza, and it does not have any repetition. And the hamza and the repetition, repeated word, or word with the repeated letters, they will be gone into here. So you have these 9. So this is 1, 2, 3. So like dakhala wa dahraja. Then you have the mahmuz, meaning hamza. هو ما فيه همزة. It is what has a hamza in it. Like أمر, he ordered. سأل, he asked. قرأ, he read. المضاعف, meaning the, like, duplicated. It is of two types. المضاعف الثلاثي, that is the word with 3 letters, and العين and اللام in فعل is the same letter. So like mim, ra, ra. It becomes marra. He passed. He passed by something. You know. نحو مد وأز وود. مد, he prolonged something. أز, Allah alam exactly, or at all I should say. وود, he loved something. Then you have the مضاعف الرباعي, a 4-letter word which is duplicated internally. So it is what has a fa and lam al-ula. So you have a 4-letter verb is fa'lala, right? Fa'lala. So he says the fa and the lam al-awwal, these ones, are the same letter. And al-ayn, al-lam al-thaniya, these and this, those are the same letter. So like zalzala and waswasa. And by the way, the ruba'i muda'af, generally, I'm not aware if there's any exception to this, but I will say generally, just to be safe, these kinds of words generally indicate a repetition in the act. So zalzala, to shake something violently, it indicates a repetition of an act, right? Waswasa, to whisper, you know, yeah, kind of like that is actually the sound that the act is making. And al-waswasa is also the sound of al-hali, which is, you know, jewelry, the sound of jewelry. And then you have the different kinds of معتلات. المثال, الأجوف, الناقص, واللفيف. Exactly. So these are all kinds of, they are all words that are معتل. So المثال is what where the fa, it is where the fa, that which, okay, where the fa is a harf illa. So the first one, waqafa, he stood up. Ya'isa, he lost hope. Well, ajwaf, and mithal means, you know, the example. Allah knows best why this word has been used. Well, ajwaf, meaning the hollow, something which is hollow, ajwaf. It is where the ayn is a harf illa. So qala, ba'a, inqada. So this is al-ayn is still harf illa because this is on. Just a minute. If inqiyad, yeah, exactly. Infa'ala. Infa'ala. So al-ayn is harf illa. Meaning that it's hollowed out by having a flawed character in the middle, letter in the middle, right? And then you have the naqis, the it means like the incomplete word. it is where the lam is حرف علة. So دعا, هدى, رضي, واهتدى comes from huda, where obviously the lam is حرف علة. And then you have the lafif. I believe it's the last one, right? Yeah. Last one of 9. It is, so lafif means something that is wound up, or like, there's another word for that, like, so wound up like a spool of thread, for example. That is lafif. Subhanallah, I had the word for this, khair inshallah. And it is where you have 2 حرف علة. So you have al-lafif al-mafruq, which means the separated, but it's almost like layered lafif. So that is mafruq, the separated, layered word. When you have 2 حرف علة and they are separated by 1 حرف صحيح, like wafa, first and second, waqa, first and second, waliya, first and second, right? And then you have the lafif al-maqroon, meaning the joined together lafif, and that is when 2 حرف علة are neighboring, hawa, hawiya, hayya, right? So those are the 9. Just let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Exactly. Then you have, and this is probably the 3rd, right? تقسيم الفعل. الماضي والمضارع. Yeah, exactly. So here we are. Here we are. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3rd one. 3rd section. So it means the splitting up the verbs into static and morphable verbs, right? So with regards to the morphability and staticness, to morphable and static verbs. And there are 3 types, 3 categories. التام التصرف, the completely morphable, and it is the verb where the 3 representations, صور, of the verb comes, meaning it has. So you have all the 3 tenses, past, present, and imperative. وهو أكثر الأفعال. It is the most common in verbs. ذهب, يذهب, اذهب. So it's past, present, imperative. Then you have الناقص التصرف, which is an incompletely morphable word. It has only 2 of these. Only 2 of these. Maybe these 2. So not all 3 tenses are represented, and you have 2 types. The first, where you have ما أتى منه, where the word comes in, it comes in past and present, but not imperative. Like كاد يكاد. It means it almost does something, like كاد يذهب. He almost went. And that which is in present and imperative, but not in past tense. and it is only two verbs, subhanAllah. يدع and دع, and يذر and ذر. And subhanAllah, this is actually an error I made. I said in the tafsir video that the past tense of يذر should be either وذر or يذر, but apparently there is no past tense to this, subhanAllah. And then you have the third one. It is static. It is the verb where only one tense appears, and it is of three types. Obviously, ما جمد, what is static or has solidified really in the expression of the past tense, the present tense, and the imperative. So ليس is apparently past tense in its representation or its expression, like its form. And then you have, I doubt that ليس actually is in the past tense in meaning, though. So it's good that the author mentioned surah. And then you have the second one is what has like solidified in the form of a present tense word. So يهيط, I don't know what this means. ليس obviously means it isn't. ليس زيد صحيحا, like Zayd is not healthy. يهيط. And then you have what has like solidified, quote unquote, in the imperative form, like hat, meaning give me. And then you have the categorization of the verb into لزوم الفعل المتعدي, يعني لازم ومتعدي, meaning verbs with effect or verbs without effect. I'm sure there's a good term for this. So there are two types. اللازم. So الفعل اللازم and لازم means something which is, intrinsic to yourself. So that kind of verb is what takes the actor and makes it marfu', meaning it should really have dhamma, and does not take an object and makes it mansub, like قعد زيد. Zayd sat. Zaydun is marfu', and there is no object here that is mansub, meaning it should have fatha, like we will go into here. And qama, he stood up. There's no like he hit someone or something like that. Wal muta'addi, the effective verb that has an effect. وهو الذي يرفع فاعلا, same. So it makes the actor marfu', this is the actor al-fa'il, and it takes the object and makes it mansub, ينصب مفعولا به, like سمع زيد القرآن. Zayd heard the Quran. مرفوع, actor. منصوب, object. وقرأه, and he read it. So الحاء here is not exactly mansub, but it is supposed to be mansub if it weren't to be mabni. So this is really about i'rab, so it's not about sarf. وحفظه, same thing. وضابطهما, just a minute, I had some troubles understanding this. Yeah, okay, so this is like ضابطهما, meaning its criterion, let's say, or the distinguishing feature is that the verb can connect with a ha of al-ghaib, meaning it or him. Yeah, so this is the thing. قرأه. You can say he read it, he memorized it. So it's like a tip of how you can easily distinguish between لازم المتعدي. فالفعل المتعدي يتصل بها. So the effective quote unquote verb connects with such a ha successfully, like سمعه, he heard it. واللازم لا يتصل بها. So the intrinsic verb, so to speak, does not successfully connect with the word, and it does not make sense. So you cannot say فلا يقال قعده, he sat it. No. And then you have the and this has to be the 3, 4. This should be the last one. Categorizing the verb into with regards to mentioning the actor or not, to مبني للمعلوم and مبني للمجهول. So I briefly explained this in the summary at the top. So let's just get into it. He says exactly من حيث ذكر الفاعل وعدم ذكره. So with regards to mentioning the actor and not mentioning it or him, it's split up into 2 categories. So المبني للمعلوم, what has been expressed to express a known actor. ما ذكر فاعله, it is where the actor has been mentioned, like حفظ محمد القرآن. So this is the actor, he is mentioned. المبني للمجهول, on the other hand, is what has been expressed as the actor being unknown. وهو ما لم يذكر فاعله, and it is what, or the actor of which has not been mentioned. وأنيب عنه غيره, and something else takes its grammatical place. So the dhamma here, something else will take the dhamma. So حفظ القرآن ضمة. The Quran has been memorized. By whom? It's not mentioned in the sentence. So as far as the sentence goes and the expression goes, the actor is unknown. And the object takes the role of the actor here by taking on the dhamma. And there are 4 things. والذي ينوب عن الفاعل 4 أشياء. So 4 things can actually take the place of the actor in a مبني للمجهول. So you have the object, like the Quran here. It is the object or the target of memorization. It has actually taken the role of the actor in a grammatical sense. Yeah, and he says that as long as the object exists in the sentence, then it is not valid to have any other thing taking the role of the actor than this. Like وَقُضِيَ الْأَمْرِ, and the issue has been decreed, let's say. So this is the object taking the role of the actor, and this قضية is مبني للمجهول. And then you have the second one, المفعول المطلق. Like this is like an infinitive that you mention after. If we take an example in مبني للمعلوم, like okay, he jumped a very high jump. A very high jump. So there you said jump after he jumped, meaning you mentioned the actual action twice. You did it to say that it was high. Okay, so he jumped a very high jump. As opposed to he jumped very high, you can also mention the infinitive successful in Arabic. I don't know how nice this sounds in English, but you can actually do this in Arabic. So, for example, قفز قفزا like عاليا. Okay, so he jumped a high jump. That is the second, the infinitive here. He jumped a high jump. This is the infinitive المفعول المطلق. It's called المفعول المطلق. It's like doesn't really have anything to do with the object per se, because there's no object when jumping. It's just, this is just a name for it. Like it's like the absolute object, I guess. So he sat a long sitting. جلس جلوسا طويلا. جلس. Oh my, this is not nice handwriting. Try to improve that. جلوسا طويلا. طويلا. He sat a long sitting. And you can also make this into المبني للمجهول, and use then the جلوسا, the object, so to speak, is not the object, but let's just pretend it takes the role of the actor, which is, in this sentence, it is هو, he. So this one will take the role of the actor and get a ضمة. جلس جلوس طويل. And طويل is obviously a sifa or a na'at, and it follows with regards to رفع النصب and jar. But this is, now we're going to into i'rab, I'm just clarifying. And nahu, by the way. So the third example, or the third kind of word that can take the role of the actor is ظرف الزمان أو ظرف المكان. So جلس اليوم, he sat today. جلس اليوم فتحة. Then you can say جلس اليوم. And these, okay, so I'll just mention the fourth one. Then I'll go into just mention that. الجار والمجرور. And this is a bit, maybe because it's شبه جملة or something. But anyway, you can say this. جلس في البيت. جلس في البيت. جلس في البيت. This one is a bit unclear, but it was, sitting occurred in the house. So this is definitely a valid Arabic sentence, but to call it نائب عن الفاعل في المبني للمجهول, Allah knows best. That might be the case. So the thing is, you must know that these kinds of books go into details that are not, as I said, sometimes they are of limited practical value. And these three are extremely uncommon. You almost, you can go basically more or less years without coming upon any of these three, right? So just so you focus your strengths or energy on certain things that might relate to you better, And this is the last one, yes. وينبأ, this is serious typo. ويبنى الماضي, يبنى, like this. الماضي للمجهول. And how, okay, so this is like, how do you construct the المبني للمجهول for الماضي and المضارع. So how do you express words like being in مبني للمجهول? Because المبني للمعلوم is the standard, right? So for example, you have حفظ, حفظ, and so on. So حفظ, let's take حفظ. حفظ يحفظ. So الماضي, this one, is constructed or expressed as a مجهول actor بضم أوله. This one gets a ضمة. وكسر ما قبل آخره. It already had كسرة. So it becomes حفظ. It was حفظ, it becomes حفظ. So from he memorized, it became it was memorized. So how about the present tense? Right, his حفظ. ويبنى, look, المضارع للمجهول. المضارع يحفظ. He is memorizing. بضم أوله وفتح ما قبل آخره. This, it was already فتحة. يحفظ. It is memorized. So it went from يحفظ to يحفظ. The meaning went from he memorized to it is being memorized. نحو يحفظ. وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.